I thought that first game this fall that we played as close to 4 quarters of football that we want to play up to this point. So I thought we established the front on both sides of the football, so that helps with everything, stopping their run. We were able to run the football, went into the game offensively committed to running the ball and trying to figure some things out from that standpoint. So we thought we had an advantage, from the film, just watching their first 2 games and so on and so forth. Ended up working out that way when we got down there. I thought the guys played hard up front. We created some dents for the first time, and the backs ran hard and made some plays. Q ran hard when we put AB in. So that part was good. Defensively, I felt like our front and our box especially dominated their front in terms of the run game. They had some things in the pass game. They had the one kid get loose for, whatever it was, 110 or 20 yards, whatever. So we got to get some things shored up there. But, I thought overall, we did what we were capable of doing in all phases of the game, and that was good to see. It's funny. I didn't see that. I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. It was probably in the middle of the third quarter. Some of the guys on our sideline started, yelling, whatever it was that they had predicted. So the word spread fast on the sideline. We were, as coaches, kind of asking what are they talking about. But so our guys were well aware of it. We ended up having some bulletin board material without even knowing it. So that part was good. But it's again, I don't pay attention to it, so it's whatever. It kind of breaks your heart a little bit that it sounds like the GLIAC guy even picked against us in that game. So, but whatever, it is what it is. We obviously in the first 3 weeks didn't do enough to prove that we were capable of doing something like that. So for our guys to go out and execute the way they did, that was good to see. Yeah, so obviously he was our starter going into the fall. Got banged up at Bemidji and been limited a little bit the 2 weeks before that. So, but he's capable of doing that every week. I think we've got enough talent in the backfield between him, Asher, Colby, and Patrick that if we can just get things started at the point of attack, we've got enough talent, whoever it is, that we're capable of running the football. I think I've said it the last 2 weeks, we're messing around with what's going on up front in terms of what bodies are playing and where they're playing. So the cohesion obviously is something that's a work in progress, and we're trying to get to that point where we've got a front five that trusts and knows each other and knows how to play next to each other. And that goes a long way. So we lived in 12 pers for most of the game. I think we ran 2 schemes for most of the game in terms of what we were trying to do. So that helps as well when the guys, know what we're doing, what we're communicating, how to block it against each front. And again, I thought they did a nice job. So the tight ends being part of that the whole time did a nice job setting the edge. We were trying to get to the, pin and pull quite a bit. And, there was times where the backs weren't getting a hand on until they're 5-6 yards downfield. So that makes that part easy regardless of who you're playing. But Jake runs hard. He's got that extra burst that if he gets out in space, he's got the capability of taking it the distance, and had a couple of those runs on Saturday where he got out in the open and obviously is pretty good there. So proud of what he did. Yeah, I thought all those guys, Champney had some targets. I don't know that he ended with many catches, but if you watched the game or you were at it, it was not an easy game for the skill guys to get in a rhythm because we were running the football so often. It ended up being that when we were in the personnel that we were in, having success running the football, they had to get extra hats down towards the box to help out with it. So it just worked out that the grass that was available was, vertical shots, and to turn around and hand the football off over and over and over again, and wide receivers just blocking, and then all of a sudden, the next call is a shot play because of the way they are playing, for the guys to go execute those in a game where you're not throwing it a ton. That was good to see that they could just turn it on when they needed to. And, we got behind them a couple times. We had the one drop that D-Will wishes he had back, but I think outside of that, every vertical shot we took, we hit. So that was good to see. We had the one in the first half on the first drive that, just a little bit off on, but the guys did a nice job for not being in a rhythm like we have been in terms of throwing the football the first 3 weeks to answer the bell when it was called. In those situations, they did a nice job. The tough part about going to play Oshkosh or anybody at a lower division is you hope that the locker room doesn't hear the outside noise about what should happen just because of there being a D3 next to it rather than a D2. I thought our guys approached the week last week really well, preparing to our standard, not who they were playing against. That showed up on Saturday. So to end it the way we did, the score is whatever. I was more proud of the way our guys approached it and played in the game to get into the bye week knowing that we had work to still do and still do. But we're trying to get better every single week, not necessarily just worry about winning a football game. And I was proud of them for that part of it. So we're dinged up right now. We're getting the bye week right when we need it to get some guys healthy. We'll be a little bit lighter in terms of what we're asking from them this week, but we'll still have 3 practices where we need to get better, and they know that. And obviously our eyes are, to Wayne here in 2 weeks. But happy with where we're at, getting out of the non-conference, 3-1, and playing our best football after the 4th game rather than, 2 weeks ago or whatever it may be. Yeah, I wish we could set it up every year where career fair is on our bye week. But you guys all know this. At this school, this is a big week for our guys. These kind of opportunities, that's why you go to a school like Michigan Tech, is to be afforded these types of things, whether you're looking for a job afterwards or an internship. When this many companies are coming to our campus to recruit our guys, it's a huge deal. So they get to do whatever they need to do with recruiting fair. We don't hold them back at all with that part of it. There's going to be guys going, whether it be to introduce themselves to people or getting interviews from things today and tomorrow, and football does not get in the way of that. So it helps out being that we're on a bye week. We're not prepping for anybody on Saturday, but this is a big week for the entire university, and our guys are a big part of that. And it's great having football alums that are in positions to hire people now that are back on campus, talking to our guys last night, again today, and then tomorrow. So, but that's, you make those kind of connections and meet those kind of people at things like this. That's a big deal for our guys. The last 2 weeks, I felt like they've adjusted to it very well. The big thing that we were concerned about, I mentioned this right after the Sipple deal happened, that, the communication was the part that we were most concerned with, because he is the quarterback of that side of the football. The guys that are playing behind him, we've had trust in and had played, even before he got hurt. So, of course, now you're asking, 70 snaps from those guys rather than, maybe 10 or 15 when Sips was playing. But they've done a nice job. There's nothing that is glaring where, man, we wish Sips was in instead of this guy at that point. Of course, you always wish you had your All-Americans playing. But the guys that have taken that role on now have played their butts off, a bunch of tackles in the right spots. As a defense, we talked about it after the game. We got to be better tackling in space. There's too many guys, spinning out of tackles or falling forward for extra yards that we need to get cleaned up regardless of what position we're talking about. But proud of the way Owen, Beekle, the rest of the guys have picked up the slack in terms of the communication part on that side.